Today's video, we're going to talk about Bing click fraud or Microsoft Ads click fraud, how to get rid of it completely and make ads profitable again for your business, or at least give them a chance to be profitable in the first place, since most of you guys if you're in a niche where click fraud is a big issue, you probably never got your ads to work in the first place, because that's the crux of the situation. There are some niches where click fraud's there, some of them where it's not. I'm going to tell you the main niches where it is generally really rampant or bad or existing, if you will, in and itself, where your ads are just not going to be able to run unless you figure out the method of getting rid of the click fraud. And then also, of course, how to actually deal with the click fraud specifically, so your ads do have a chance to be successful if you are actually in one of those business niches itself. So with that said, getting into the content here, Bing is actually riddled with click fraud in any niche, business niche, where big money is involved and there is a low barrier to entry in that niche, particularly in lead generation niches. So what do I mean by lead generation niches? I mean stuff like plumbing or electrical services or tax relief. Where you're behind on your taxes and you have companies that will negotiate a better deal with the IRS for you. If you can't pay, at least pay a lesser amount. Offer and compromise. So those type of businesses, this is the exact niche types or industries, if you will, where the click fraud is going to probably exist in your space, because when I say low barrier to entry, you got guys like me who come into these markets, setting up shop, setting up their ads to capture the ads, or capture the leads, so that they can flip those leads to people in that industry and sell them at a premium. Well, what do? The people that are successful at this will be able to do it in one niche. So then they go to the next niche and the next niche and the next niche. As a part of that big enterprise now, it basically has become, with some of these people that are doing it in 50 different niches, they figure out ways to be more profitable. Well, one of the ways to become more profitable is to whack the other people that they're competing against in that niche, because it does two things. It makes the leads cheaper for them, and then at the same time, it makes it to where, because their goal is just to whack you out completely or you're gone. And then the lead becomes not only just cheaper, but super cheap permanently. But it also, at the same time, gets more people. It makes more demand for the leads that they're selling at the same time. So they literally come in, hit you, knock you down, and then come around and sell you the leads that you had before at a rate that you were buying them before, or even a little bit more. So naturally, they want to do this. And yes, there are people that lead generation and lead selling operators that are in dozens of different markets in 50 plus cities, and they're doing this like a big business. And they know how to do click fraud against you if you're in a niche like that. Now, that said, also big money niches is where it's also going to be more likely to happen. So when I say big money, we're talking about lots of volume. The plumbing space is a big money niche. Not so much that most of the people that are calling you are spending lots of money, because there are big plumbing jobs. Like if you have a clogged sewer line, it could be $1,000+ job. But what I'm mainly talking about here is volume wise. There's a lot of volume of leads that you can capture off of Bing. Given Bing already has only 20% of the search volume that Google does, but if you're in an industry like plumbing, there's still a ton of leads you can get off of Bing by itself. So with that said, that would be what we would call a big money niche. Or if you're talking about like water damage restoration, where you have basement flooding and there's companies that come extract the water out, that's a big money niche, because every single time you need that done, it's probably going to be a $3,000 job at the end of the day. Every call's worth $3,000. Boom, boom, boom. So whereas there's not that many leads you can get, the few that you can get, you could sell those leads for $500 a pop all day long, and people will buy them. And if there's no question people will buy them because they're worth $3,000 a piece in terms of actual job, the job value itself. So that'd be another way that I would classify something as big money. So if you have big money combined with low barrier to entry, that is, somebody can come in, set up a website saying they do XYZ, they do floodwater extraction services, and they can run an ad basically overnight and then take the leads and flip them for $500 a piece. You've got a niche where it's highly likely that you're going to have to deal with click fraud if you're ever going to get things to work in that space on your Bing Ads account, because that's the lead sellers that are going to know how to do the click fraud successfully, because we're not talking about guys that are just clicking ads in their office. We're talking about a sophisticated operation where they have software that does this and so forth. So the people that are selling leads, they're going to go into these big money niches where they can set up a website overnight, and the calls are going to be worth something, and that you don't have to deal with too much. The lead sellers, all they're doing is they're answering the phone and then saying, okay, you need somebody to come out, okay, and then they're passing the lead on, or they're just redirecting the calls to the actual seller. But every call is worth a ton of money, and there's tons of buyers for them. So, and if you want to add a third requirement, it would be niches where people actually need leads, because there's some niches where it's low barrier to entry and big money, but they're overworked, and so then therefore lead sellers wouldn't go into that space. Water damage restoration is extremely hard to get leads, very hard to get your ads to work, lots of money in terms of the value per call that can be generated, and anybody can go set up a website overnight and say they do it to sell the leads. That's the perfect niche where you're going to have the click fraud being present. Now, in terms of the mechanism here to block the click fraud, now that you kind of know that it happens, where it happens, you can set up Clickcease on your Bing Ads account. With Clickcease specifically, which is a click fraud software, it's not that useful out of the box, because unlike with Clickcease and with Google Ads, you can directly integrate your Google Ads account to your Clickcease account, use the locksmith setting where you're going to essentially every single person who clicks your ad is not going to be allowed to see your ad again, because it's going to block the IP address of every single user who clicks on your ad, which is going to be the most restrictive setting and the setting that's going to get rid of the most click fraud, but it's not going to get rid of click fraud if it's any kind of sophisticated attack against you, because it's only going to get rid of the low level click fraud where it's literally your competitor clicking having their staff clicking your ads in your office, which, by the way, will actually knock out your ads if you're in a niche where a click is $50 a click and they only need to do it to you 10 times a day to make your ads unprofitable, and they only need to do it to you for 90 days, because after 90 days you're going to say, this Google Ads stuff doesn't work, I quit, and then they got rid of you, and they're going to do it to you right away when you come in, and any new guy that comes in to quickly discourage and quickly make sure that, and then making sure as a result of that system, very few players try to come in and compete and take away their leads, or just in that case drive up the lead costs. Because the more people in it, of course, the higher the cost per click, higher the cost per lead is going to be. It's a bidding system by default. So Clickcease, you have to block and to have every user that clicks on your ad not be able to see your ad again, you would actually have to upload manually your IP addresses to Microsoft/Bing, which that's not feasible either, because they only allow you to upload so many IP addresses. It's 100 at a time that they let you block. So what do you do instead? What's the second best option that you can do and see where you can utilize Clickcease to block crude attempts at click fraud against you? What we did was we would block anybody who's clicked the ad at least 3 times in the last 30 days. If they've clicked 3 times in the last 30 days, we'll take that IP address that's clicked 3 times in the last 30 days, add it to the IP exclusion list. And naturally, you're still going to have 100 at some point, and then you're going to have to take off the oldest ones. But that'll get, for the most part, the same thing done, which is the people that are sitting in the office of the competitor clicking on your ads, at least then they can only click on the ad a maximum of 3 times before they get put on the exclusion list. That's specifically what I would recommend to you to get rid of click fraud in that space. And you're going to, of course, like I said, have to manually import it into your account to make that work. But it's certainly worth it to do if you're in a big money space with a low barrier to entry and in a niche where leads are highly valuable and that people will buy them because they need them, they want them, they're worth a lot, etc. So, and then with that, by the way, though, if you are being attacked, you're in a super, especially profitable niche with sales leads that are super valuable. And, you know, like with the water damage restoration being one example of a niche that would be included in that, or, you know, the tax relief firms, like I mentioned before, these crude click fraud attempts aren't going to be what you're dealing with. You're going to be dealing with the sophisticated click fraud attack against you where they're using software and they're using botnets to click your ads. Why? Because there's so much money in it. They can afford to do this stuff against you ultimately, or hire somebody who knows how to do it, teach them how to do it, or whatnot. And if that's happening to you, then the Clickcease itself ain't going to do jack shit. And then at that point in time, you're going to have to know the secret methods of being able to block people that are using these softwares to click your ads, which they literally program the software to like randomly go to the Bing search results after typing in a predetermined keyword, find your ad, click on it. And you could contact me at my firm at guaranteeppc.com and I'll give you the secret method. Naturally, the details about the system and all that, we can, of course, give it to you. But, just to keep it short, I know how to block these people. It gets rid of some of the good clicks to get rid of all the bot clicks, but it will get rid of all the bot clicks. If you're in a certain niche where there isn't very many clicks to get, like 5 clicks a day, getting rid of the bot clicks, it may take out so many of the good clicks, it ain't worth it to advertise anymore. That would be the main people that could not use this method. But if there's a lot of clicks, like in the tax relief space where there's a decent amount of volume, it will work great because it'll get rid of some of the volume, and what volume is left to get, which is a decent amount still, it's all click fraud free. So, because naturally here, the main thing is these people that are doing click fraud against you, they're doing it as a means to discourage. It's almost like a terrorist. Terrorism and people doing click fraud have almost basically the same objective. They want to discourage you, so you just stop advertising. It's not about to permanently make your ads not profitable, because that's too time-consuming. It's expensive. The people doing the click fraud, it's expensive to rent a botnet to use to dedicate it to clicking your ads. They want to discourage you, so you just quit running your ads. One of the main hallmarks of this is they'll get to your website and fill out a form, and the form will be gibberish. That's one strong sign you have click fraud. But not only will that happen to you if you've had click fraud, sometimes you can have click fraud without that. That's just a really good sign you're going to have click fraud, by the way. And so they want to discourage you. They want to do it to you a whole ton, hopefully right away, because like I said before, every new guy that comes in will hit you with click fraud. Before you even know Bing Ads works or not, you're going to say, oh, Bing Ads doesn't work, I'm stopping. And then they got rid of most of their competition that way. Because if you've already had success with your Bing Ads, just think about it. And then you got hit with click fraud. Now you're thinking, how do I get rid of click fraud? Versus if they did it to you right away, you're not even going to think Bing Ads works. You're not even going to think about click fraud. That's not going to be the first thing that jumps to your mind. It sticks out in your mind right away, or that you think about. So, anyway, with that, what I was trying to get to before was to say they're trying to discourage you, and they're not going to be taking every expense to click fraud you. They're going to take whatever it usually takes to discourage you, because that's what the real goal is. And so with that, there's no way to click fraud you in a way that there's no way to not to block it. But they don't need to have what the click fraud method that they're using against you being unblockable, because 95% of people that they do it to aren't smart enough to even realize it's click fraud to begin with. So therefore, there's a way to block the click fraud. You just have to be smart enough to know you have click fraud. And then furthermore, you got to be understanding, of course, what to do about it. But what to do about it, even though 5% of people might be able to block it, that 5% that's left, they don't really give a shit about. They're not going to spend the extra, how much money to get the extra last 5%, if that makes sense. So anyway, with that said, you can contact me at my agency at guaranteeppc.com if you're still having a problem with it. And I can put you on the right track for sure, 100% for sure, to get rid of all that click fraud, even though it does weed out some of the good traffic. Anyway, with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. You can ask me any question you'd like about PPC or running ads online, and I'll try to use my knowledge as best as I can. 15 years of ad management knowledge to try to help put you on the right track with what you're doing. If you're looking for information online that's going to help you make millions of dollars running ads for your business, this is the channel you want to subscribe to already, as this information that you're going to get on this channel is coming straight from the source, from somebody who just manages and does ad strategy development for dozens of ad accounts that I'm in charge of getting results on an ongoing basis, and which we at our firm have to guarantee results for our clients to get paid anything at all, which should tell you about the quality of the information that we're giving you, that we can actually use to guarantee results for our clients. So therefore, you should subscribe to this channel. You should not delay on doing that, because I promise you're not going to find better information online, given most of the information you do find is coming from people that sell courses, making money off of YouTube. They're not actually running ads like you think they do, and that's 90+% of the information out there. And it's coming from third, fourth-hand sources. It's hardly useful, whereas the information on this channel is coming straight from the source on somebody 40 hours a week that just does ad strategy and figures out what works and what doesn't work and tells you about what works and what doesn't work on this channel. So you should subscribe already if you haven't. Furthermore, you can find my blog. If you like the channel, I got a blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog, which has step-by-step methods on how to actually bolt on extra profit to your ad accounts and operation and what you have now, with screenshots, with step-by-step information, which you should also check out. If you like the channel, you're going to love my blog, probably even more, as most people do. As a side, if you want somebody to just get you the results on your account and you don't want to do all the heavy lifting behind it, of the strategies I talk about on this channel, this is exactly what I do as my day job for our clients. And like I mentioned before, we do not charge a fee unless we can get our client more profitability on their account. So that is, whatever you're spending on ads now and whatever it makes, we'll make it make more before we take our fee, and it has to make more than our fee is before we'll agree to take a fee. The catch is we don't just work with any client, but if you reach out to my firm, I'll give you an estimate of how much sales results we could get and profit results we could get in addition to what you have now from your account before we would take a fee, and see if we can see if there's a way we can work together. You can reach out to my firm at guaranteeppc.com if you're interested in that. As a side, also, if you're not looking to work with an ad agency like mine, we've also worked in 100 different niche markets before. And then with that, if we've worked in your niche market before, you can take the exact ads, landing pages, campaign templates, everything that we've worked out for your niche already to get to a certain set amount of results for a client, and copy and paste what we have that's the winning version of all that into your ad account, and bypass all the work that we had to go through to figure out what it is for our client in a different geographic area that you're in. As long as you're in a different geographic area, you can use all the same stuff that we use to get set results in one market in your market for yourself, with none of the work, none of the time, none of the money really that we had to spend. That many times we spent 7 figures or more just in ad spend to figure out what works in your market. So anyway, if you're interested in that, you can also reach out to my firm at guaranteeppc.com. We'll let you know what results we've had in your market, and so you at least would know what you'd be standing to gain. Just use what we've figured out works in your market. You can also use these templates, by the way, to start other businesses whether you want to start a lead selling business, whether you want to start an e-commerce business, you're not familiar with it, you can start an e-commerce business very easy by taking one of the templates that we have to sell a known product you can get from China so easily in a country that our current or past clients never operating in, and get turnkey results over there. So anyway, if you're interested in any of those opportunities, you can also reach out to me at my firm for that at guaranteeppc.com. Well, I'll wrap everything up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you on the next video where we have another great strategy for you then. See you later.